want to talk about Mormon doctrine. Today, specifically, I want to focus on the Doctrines of Salvation by Mormon prophet Joseph Fielding Smith. Jeffrey, I hope you don't mind that I used your comment, but I wanted to piggyback off of that other video. Mormons often argue with me about what actually counts as doctrine versus what is just somebody's opinion. Now, in the video this comment came from, I was talking about how Joseph Fielding Smith wrote in these books about how there is no progression between the degrees of glory, or the levels of heaven. And I honestly did not think that that was going to be a controversial topic whatsoever. I mean, Mormonism has bigger fish to fry. I didn't think that that one was gonna generate any controversy at all, but it did. There were some Mormons in the comments that were genuinely being assholes, so I blocked them. But it made me want to talk about what is doctrine in the Mormon Church. Now, for me personally, I think that what is in these books should be counted as official Mormon teachings. Now, hear me out on my reasons why, and if you disagree, tell me why in the comments. First of all, there's just the title. This is Doctrines of Salvation. The author is Joseph Fielding Smith, who was a prominent leader in the Mormon Church for decades, and he went on to become the prophet of the church. We've also got the fact that these books were published by a publishing company owned by the LDS Church and then sold in the church's bookstore for decades. We also have this article about Joseph Fielding Smith on the church's official website. It says during his service as an apostle from 1910 to 1972, his writings were published in 25 books, including Doctrines of Salvation. Through listening to his sermons and reading his writings, church members came to trust President Smith as a gospel scholar. Not only an apostle, but a gospel scholar from these writings. You can also go on the church's website and pull up hundreds, maybe even thousands of times where the church has used Doctrines of Salvation as a reference material for lesson manuals, for general conference talks, for ensign articles, everything. Have to show you a few examples, of course. Another one, another one, another one, another one, another one, another one. These ones are from lesson books, a whole bunch more of them. So I guess my question is, for anybody who disagrees with me, if the stuff that Joseph Fielding Smith, prophet Joseph Fielding Smith, wrote in these books is just his opinions and has nothing to do with official church teachings or church doctrine, then why on earth is the church using his books as reference material for the lessons that they are giving to their members to teach them about church doctrine? Why does the church refer to him as a gospel scholar who knew what he was talking about clearly? Is there some stuff in these books that you would consider to be official church doctrine or official church teachings and not other stuff? Because if that's the case, how are you differentiating exactly? Is it a feeling? Are you using the Holy Ghost, the Spirit, to tell you what is doctrine and what is not? If that's the case, everybody could get a different answer about what's doctrine and what's not. I mean, I could sit here and say that, well, I prayed and the Holy Ghost told me that this is all doctrine. Obviously, I'm not a member of the church, but I'm just saying that as each individual member reads and prays about this, they could end up with different answers. How do you tell when a prophet or an apostle is speaking as a prophet or an apostle versus speaking as a man? Because to me, it seems pretty obvious that these books, written by a gospel scholar, are dedicated to teaching the members, to informing the members of the church about the doctrine, right? And the church says that he was a scholar, so I mean, was he doing a bad job? Is the church wrong about him being a scholar? Is there like a doctrine versus opinions test that we can put things to? Because to be totally honest with you, the way it comes across to me as somebody who makes a lot of content about this stuff and reads and researches a lot of books like this, is that if a Mormon just so happens to disagree or not like the stuff that I'm posting about, suddenly that's not doctrine, that's not official church teachings, that's just an opinion. The test seems to be if I like it or not. If I like it, it's doctrine. If I don't like it, it's an opinion. And if this isn't official church teachings, if this isn't doctrine, again, why is the church using it to educate their members? Again, I'm hoping that Mormons comment on this one and we can have a discussion, but if you're an asshole to me, I'm just gonna block you. I'm sorry, I don't have time for that negativity in my life. I'm not trying to be mean to anybody. I feel like I'm being pretty nice, so the least you could do is be nice in return.